Hello, this is Professor Larry Siegel, also co-host of Real Talk with the Siegel Brothers, and welcome to part one of tips that I would like to share for you students who are sheltering in during this coronavirus pandemic. So the first thing that I would like to share with you is don't obsess. It seems really, really scary. We don't want to take this lightly, but we don't want to obsess and we don't want to be living in fear here. Limit your amount of news, limit what you're taking in. Please stay on top of things, be informed, be careful, be aware of what's going on, but don't obsess about it. We don't need this doomsday, end of the world reporting that we sometimes get caught up into. You don't have to be scared, just be smart. You are far more resilient than you think you are. I think that's true for pretty much most of us. We are more resilient than we think we are. And the key to being resilient is actually pretty simple. First thing we have to do is accept that we are in this situation. If we accept our situation, we accept our circumstances, then we are able to make the adjustments and the accommodations that we need to make. And for right now, those accommodations and adjustments are about sheltering in, staying in as much as possible. Obviously, we need to go out for provisions, we need to go shopping, we need food, maybe doctor's appointments, medications that need. We're not locked in. We want to minimize our being out in public because that minimizes the transmission of this virus. So follow those precautions, social distancing, wash your hands a lot. Soap and water, great antimicrobial. You don't need to obsess with hand sanitizer, not that you could even find any anymore, but soap and water. Every time you go outside, if you have contact with other surfaces or other people, wash your hands. It's one of the best things that we do have. If you are going out in public, it's probably a good idea to wear a mask. And wearing a mask is not necessarily for your protection, it's for our protection. This is something that is transmitted through the air. Even though we may not refer to it as an airborne virus, it's usually through droplets, through contact. It's coming from the stuff in our nose and in our mouth. So wearing a mask in public minimizes what we are putting out there for other people to get. And then, of course, especially if you're out in public, try not to touch your face. People tend to do that non-consciously, but we need to be aware of that a little bit more because that's a major vector for transmission for people. Touching surfaces that have droplets with the virus and then they're touching their face. So we want to be aware of that. Another point I would like to make in this section is to stay connected. It's vitally important that we truly understand and we truly hear the message that social distance is not the same as social isolation. Reach out, stay connected. A lot of things can be done online, socially. Many of you do most of your social stuff online. You know those things that you send text messages on and do your Instagramming on and stay up all night with your TikTok videos on? Those are also telephones, which means that you can actually put in a phone number and speak to somebody who's not there. So use that, reach out, connect to people. That's going to be really important. All right. So again, distance is not the same as isolation. So I want to end this point right here. We'll call this the end of part one, and tune in for more tips and suggestions on how we can keep our sanity and stay safe during this pandemic.